Time now for Pick 6, brought to you by our great friends at BetMGM. Place your money line, prop parlay, and same game parlay bets at BetMGM. Just download that app today. As always, please gamble responsibly. All right, so Pick 6 brought to you by BetMGM. We're going to pick 6 games against the spread. Mark's got his deuce dog of the week.
Do I?
Start your deuce dog of the week. Get your growl and your bark ready. All right, but I'll give you time to warm up because I'll start here with Pittsburgh at SMU. How about this one? A ranked affair. Gerald J. Ford Stadium set to host 2 of the unbeatens in ACC play, at least. Pitt, they were picked to finish what in the ACC, guys? Any idea?
No idea.
Low. It's not good. 13th. Pitt picked to finish 13th. They're number 18 in the land right now. They're 7-0 for the first time since Dan Marino was slinging the rock in Steel City back in 82. Last week, they picked 6th Syracuse to death. They had 3 pick sixes against Syracuse, 41-13 blowout win. There is concern over their Alabama transfer. The redshirt freshman quarterback Eli Holstein left that win in the 4th quarter with an undisclosed injury, so you're going to want to keep up on that. Coach Narduzzi not giving anything away, kind of like Coach Franklin. Hey, we'll figure this quarterback situation out at the last possible moment when we have to tell you guys. As for SMU, last week they won in overtime at Duke. Coach, despite 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers on the road, and you win.
Against a decent team. Yeah, that's unheard of. They're a really good team.
Their quarterback, Kevin Jennings, 3 picks. He fumbled it 4 times, lost 2 of them. I just can't see that looseness of the rock happening. The Mustangs, they're 16th in the nation in scoring offense. They put up almost 40 a game. They're going to win it, but they are not going to cover. Florida, 4-3, taking on number 2, Georgia. The spread here, 16.5 points for the Bulldogs. Here's what I want to know. Why can't we bring back the world's largest cocktail party moniker? I love that. For some reason, we're not allowed to push that concept anymore. I think that was
we are on the podcast.
We are exactly. One of the great charms of that game, man. What fun.
It's the world's largest cocktail party, and I was honored to coach in that thing. Very unique. Mark 50-50 right down the middle, in a neutral site. And Georgia is the best team in the country. You know, they're loaded. We saw what they did to Texas last time they played. We both agreed they're number 1, and Oregon's right behind them. 16.5. I'm going to say this about Florida and Billy Napier, the coach of the Gators. They were dead and gone, and they won some games. And that's a lot of credit to that coaching staff, because in today's day and age, with redshirting, with kids just stop playing, they're transferring. He's done. There's something there. So I think they're actually going to cover the spread, Mark. I really do. I think Georgia's the much better team, but there's something. I just admire what's gone on in Florida the last few weeks, because they beat Kentucky, they beat some other teams, and it's a 16.5 spread in that rivalry game. I think Georgia wins, but I think Florida covers.
Ooh. Let's bounce to the Big Ten. Oregon, number 1 again this week at 8-0. They received 61 of 62 first-place votes in the AP poll. They head to Ann Arbor. Here's Michigan, the defending national champs, Mark, sitting at 5-3. And again, we're talking about the quarterback situation. This week, their 7th-year quarterback, Uncle Jack Tuttle,
retired.
Medically retired on Monday. They went back to Davis Warren last week to start, with Orji coming off the bench as a change of pace type quarterback. They got the win over Michigan State 24-17, and now they've got Oregon in town.
What's the line here?
14.5.
Sheesh. Man, but
that's too big for you.
No, it's not. It's not.
No. It's too small.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to find out my dog, since the spreads done changed on me. I'm trying to figure out my dog, but no, this ain't the one. Oregon and Michigan. I mean, you talk about 2 teams who are headed in complete opposite directions. Oregon does everything well. Michigan does almost nothing well right now. It's hard to imagine a scenario where Michigan would score enough points to even keep up with Michigan. Oregon's been getting better and better as the year goes on. Dylan Gabriel and the offense are humming on all cylinders. The defense has given up 9 combined points in the last 2 games, and they're gonna be the number 1 team when they're gonna be the number 1 team in the country when the CFP rankings come out, and there won't be much debate about it, even though we think Georgia is the best team in the country. But, Dillon Gabriel's having a Heisman caliber year, and you would have thought that this would have been one of his Heisman kind of moments going against Michigan, but I think he's just gonna be healthy. And, Michigan, their offense has just not been good all year long. It's still not good right now. Their next 4 games, number 1 Oregon, 13 Indiana, Northwestern, number 4 Ohio State. They could possibly go 1-3 over that stretch. What's their record right now? 5-3?
Already have 3 losses, yep.
So you're thinking that they could possibly lose another 3 games? I mean, this is crazy, but, Khalil Mullins and Donovan Edwards last week, which is the strength of their team. They only have 42 yards and 1.9 yards per carry last week. This Michigan team's in trouble. I got Oregon going in there and handling business and covering that point spread for sure.
What a chance, though, for Michigan to salvage the season and get some of that nasty spit out of their mouth. And again, remember, Penn State had problems at Wisconsin last week. Ohio State had problems at home with Nebraska last week. Will Oregon have problems on the road at Michigan this week? Find out. Again, that's why we call it Any Given Saturday, right? Things happen. Let's go to the SEC. Number 19, Ole Miss. They're at 6-2. They're favored by 6.5 at 5-3. Arkansas. Start with the Razorbacks. Last week, their dual threat quarterback, Taylon Green, threw for 314 yards, 5 touchdowns as well. They ended up putting up 58 points, over 600 yards of offense against a struggling Mississippi State team. As for Ole Miss, their calling card this season has been what, guys? Defense. How about the defense? 1 rushing touchdown Ole Miss has allowed this season. They have the conference's top rush D. Their offense, right? You didn't really expect that, did you?
No.
Their offense, it still puts up a lot of yards. They lead the SEC in total offense, but they've had trouble finishing drives. Lane Kiffin quipping on Monday that rain could be a factor Saturday night in Fayetteville. We all know weather is a great equalizer. I'm going with Arkansas with the rain coming down to get another huge ranked home upset win. That could have been, there you go. Maybe you could loan me the dog, the Deuce dog of the week one of these weeks. All right, Mark, you have a chance for a dog, and this is your only chance for a dog, so it better be the dog. South Carolina at 4-3. We know that's a tough place to play ball. They host number 10 Texas A&M. How about them Aggies at 7-1? Last week, they earned their second top 10 win of the season, and they moved up 4 spots to number 10, the Aggies at 7-1 overall at South Carolina.
It was -3.5, right?
It went down to 2.5.
I hate the hooks, man. Like, come on. Like, the 3.5 is me. This was where I had to no, but this was gonna be my dog then. I
It's gonna be it.
It's gonna be my dog.
There you
South
go.
Carolina Gamecocks. And it's hard to play out there, man. I'm kind of scarred playing at South Carolina because they got us one time. But how about the Aggies, man? Let's talk about the Aggies for a minute. They're the only remaining undefeated SEC team in the conference play. They're the only undefeated team in conference play. We spent a lot of time giving flowers to Indiana, Coach Kurt Cignetti, deservedly so. But what about the job Mike Elko has done in year 1 at A&M? They've already beaten 2 top 10 teams in their last 3 games when Mizzou was ranked number 9 and last week number 8 LSU. They won 7 straight since their loss against Notre Dame. And maybe that $75 million buyout on Jimbo Fisher contract wasn't such a bad investment after all. You know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't. They come back from down from 17-7 against LSU when they brought their redshirt freshman quarterback Marcel Reed off the bench last week.
Woo, what a game changer he was.
Yep. Outscored LSU 31-6. And he only threw 2 passes, but his legs were the difference in the game. And Elko has been kind of non-committal about who the starter is going to be. But you figure out it's going to be hard to turn back to Wegman after a game like he had last week. And even when Wegman was hurt earlier with the AC injury, Marcel Reed went 3-0. But listen, South Carolina is no pushover. This is a team that's played both LSU and Alabama within 3 points this season. They just smacked Oklahoma. They're pretty inconsistent on offense, but they are a really good team on defense against the run, and they have a pair of edge rushers in Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart that are 2 of the best in the country. So I'm going with A&M to win the game on the road at South Carolina, but I do like South Carolina to cover this spread. So that's the a close game. It's gonna be a close dogfight. That's the Or that's the dog of the
Deuce,
week?
deuce, dog of the week.
Perhaps?
All right. Last one,
Perhaps?
the biggest game in college football this Saturday.
Maybe?
Number 4 Ohio State at 6-1 at unbeaten, third-ranked Penn State. The line is moving down. It's now Buckeyes favored by just 3.5. Fourth straight week that the Big Ten has 3 of the top 4 programs in the rankings. And this one, Coach, will be the 4th top 5 meeting of the season. Buckeyes at Nittany Lions. How do you see it?
Yeah, Penn State's had really good teams over the years, and they've had 2 problems, a Wolverine problem and a Buckeye problem. They solved the Wolverine problem. They don't play them. And now they got the Buckeyes rolling in town. And I mean, this, to me, this is an even game. This is a game that's going to be dictated by health of your team. And it's always amazing to me that I never would watch a spread, but now I'm done coaching. I just kind of, something's going, Vegas is unbelievable. They have contacts, insight. So Ohio State obviously has an offensive line issue. They've lost 2 starters. Their best offensive lineman's out, the left tackle, Simmons, and now the backup, Zen, is out. And we're still not sure how they're going to manage that. This is a bad time to go into a game with 2 injuries in your offensive line. First of all, you're on the road, so you're going to deal with some noise issues. And this is really important, Rob. The further you move away from center, noise is an issue. Because you're not going to go with you can't go with cadence. You can't hear. So there's
Silent
either
count.
going to do the clap, and sometimes claps don't work on those stadiums either. So now you're going to go on movement by the center. And the further you move out, this is really important. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
I'm on a big noon this thing. So the guard's sitting right next to the center. He can see the movement. A lot of times it's a head bob. It's something, they move their arm. Usually it's a head bob. The guard can see it. Plus the guard's playing in a confined space. You put the tackle against an Abdul Carter, some of those, really fast defensive ends, and you're going to try. This is how bizarre it is. I actually taught it. You're going to try to 2-way this thing as an offensive tackle. First of all, you're a little bit further off the line of scrimmage. A lot of times the guard's helmet is in your way, and you're going to watch that center. But you also got a problem. There's a guy that's going to get paid a lot of money in the NFL that's going to be rushing off the edge. I would not leave that tackle alone for a minute. I'd have a tight end there. I'd have a tailback there. That's what I just told you. You can't do.
Yep.
They're going to ask him to do it, but you can't do it.
Nope.
I mean, a first rounder you can do it, but not potential.
He's trying to peripher the football and the rush.
I used to say that. Think about that. So you're periffing. And by the way, block this cat that's about a 4.4, 40 coming off the edge.
Eyes out there.
It can't happen. So you're going to see Ohio State. They have to. They're going to have people there, whether it be an H-back, a tight end, or a back to help them out. So I know that was a long. I'm just get fired up thinking about that. How hard that skill is. And
get coach going now.
And I used to hate. So what is today? Today is Tuesday. So today's practice, Mark. And it would drive me insane is you're going to have these big speakers, not but 20 feet from your freaking head, and you can't even coach for that 20-minute period. And it drove me insane because you're getting used to crowd noise, Rob. That's what they're doing. And there's going to be so many mistakes. You can only really go in one cadence. The more I'm thinking about this is going to be a tough
who's
one.
going to win, Coach?
He's an experienced quarterback,
tough
Will
one, man.
Howard, right? I mean, I know he's Big 12 experience.
They got to run. He's got to have 20 carries. He's going to.
What's the line on this song?
It's down to 3.5. I think I don't have to pick the winner. I just have to pick the spread, right?
Yep.
I think Penn State covers the spread. I think this is going to be a walk-off, one of the 2 teams. I don't know. I'm not ready to make a pick on who's going to win. But this will be a 1-2 point game.
You heard it.
Yep. Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, both had 10 carries last week. Both failed to get over 30 yards. They did not get it to Jeremiah Smith enough. He did have that touchdown reception, right? But only 3 receptions. They really kind of stayed away from him in the second half. They've got to use him more. And you're right, Coach. That crowd advantage in Happy Valley is at least a field goal, maybe in the 4s, 5 type swing we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's man. I mean, I'm just staring at that sucker right now, and that's because I'm
changing
going.
Your mind.
I'm right now, Mark. I'm in period 12 of practice with that damn noise screaming at us, and I'm watching my third string left tackle, number 3 left tackle, and you're like, it's the third string left tackle.
Yeah.
Whoever you put there is a third string left tackle in that environment.
And Penn State knows it, and they're going to go after him. What an environment it's going to be in Happy Valley. Again, Big Noon Kickoff is going to be there live on Fox. Cannot wait to get ourselves back out there at Penn State.